I'm just waiting on notification, ma'am. 1 second. And thank you again, Sister Amina.
Oh no, thank you so much.
Okay,
This is
perfect.
this is my dream. This is my life, and you give me the platform.
Praise be to Allah. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have an incredible guest with us. She's a legendary guest, someone who has watched me and my siblings grow up and has always been very close to myself and my family and has always been a positive light in the nation and in the community. None other than Sister Amina Haqq. First of all, assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Walaikum salam.
We look forward to getting some incredible information from you as well as inspiration from you. We want to get straight into it. 28 years clean,
Yes.
right? Okay, so for I didn't know this growing up. I didn't, I just saw people with headpieces in both sides. I didn't know how drug addiction was a real for people, in the nation. How how um how did you get on drugs, and then how did you get off of drugs?
Very, very good question. My answers will be I pray to Allah first that um, they will be inspirational. Um, I pray to Allah that I'm able to represent who I am and whose I am and saving somebody's life. So I want to be transparent and brilliant in that my delivery will help to save somebody's life or pick somebody else up.
Mm,
So I started using as a teenager. I wanted to belong, and I also wanted to numb some pain and trauma that I experienced growing up. And the behaviors, I was insecure. Um, I really didn't know myself, so I just wanted to be anybody but who I was. I didn't have any self acceptance. And so the people that was most attractive at the time was, as a teenager, was I was in foster care. So it was this place in Rialto, California called Jackson Street. And back in the days, Jackson Street had a wall. On one side of Jackson Street was the nice little apartments, houses, beautiful and everything. And literally right over the wall was the hood. Well, naturally, what was inside of me was because I grew up Muslim and we were so strict and the family was so structured and protected. By the time I went to foster care, after some trauma that I experienced at home, um, I had all these feelings inside, all these feelings and curiosity brewing. And no matter how good it was in that foster home, I wanted what was over that wall. And when I started dipping over that wall and running away, I engaged in some activities that I don't regret because they had to happen in order for me to be able to reach back to people that's still in the condition I understand.
mm, mm,
And so how that's how I began. Um, my mother, may Allah be pleased with her, was transparent about her life, so I can share this openly because she's spoken around the world in different meetings. So what I'm saying is not something that she already self-disclosed. But I was also addicted to heroin growing up. When I was born, I was a heroin baby because my mother used, and my mother told us that she used because she was in pain. And my mother continued to use sporadically throughout our childhood until she decided to stop. And when she returned to Allah, she had I believe 29 and 30 years clean. So, and that was 3 years ago. Um, so when she stopped sporadically, she would use. So I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it in terms of the influence, but I do know I can recall the pain, the trauma, um, the conflict, the deep internal conflict, how I stopped. My stepfather had introduced my mother to the nation in 1993, the summer.
mm.
And I began to go to, at that time when the nation was rebirth, we were coming back after the 75. What happened is when we began to rise, we met in living rooms. And at that time, I met Brother Minister Kendall, who is now Brother Amin, and Brother Curtis. We had a study group in their living room. And I recall, like I said to you before, that the first tape that I ever heard of Minister Farrakhan was Satan and the Mastery of Sexual Urges. I didn't know the tape at that time. I just knew that the minister, I would tell anybody right now. Now, that is an excellent reference. You can go to finalcall.com. You can go right here on YouTube. It's called Satan and the Mastery of Sexual Urges. I didn't know the title at that time, but the minister was breaking down everything I had ever felt in my life. And when I tell you, I never heard nobody represent me like that to my parents or to the world, like hypocrisy, phoniness, all this. Ooh, I was like, ooh, I like this. And he don't care. He'd say he don't care. He said the men are killed concrete. I was like, oh, I never heard that before. So I was willing to try something different. And Brother Amin was and is, he was such a wonderful big brother that I was willing to give this a try. So I registered into the Nation of Islam December 14th, 1989, in the presence of Brother Amin and Brother who is known as Brother Captain Curtis. He was the captain at that time. I registered, I recited, I was serious. I was gonna do this. It was it. What I didn't know about the disease of addiction it definitely manifests itself in drugs, but the behaviors was out of control. And one of my behaviors that I learned later in Dianetics and through, some 12-step programs and therapy was my behaviors is running. Things get a little bit uncomfortable. I feel insecure. I develop running. I don't care. Everywhere I go, I look for the back door. I'm looking for exits. If I'm wearing heels, I put sneakers. I mean, my mentality was running. I've come to find that out. So at the time, the nation was growing. People are who they are. Life showed up. I start running. So I started using again. And I share this openly because anybody that has joined a church or organization and in the family, sometimes people think that because we get saved or we get registered, oh my God, it's over. Like you're done. No, say, no. Your sins are erased. I'm not going to say what it is and is not. I can tell you my story. When life showed up, I had a sincere desire to be right. But when life showed up, I went back to what I knew. So I started running the streets and started getting high again. And I knew I'm not the girl to go to the mosque or church and be praising the Lord, smoking weed. That's just never been who I was. So I left the nation. And I suffered when I left. I went to, initially my goal was, again, using drugs was just a consolation, an escape from pain. And I did not learn till later in life. And I thank Allah that I'm still here by his grace and mercy. And I thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who introduced Dianetics in 2011. That's what really opened up my life, even in recovery. That opened me up wide open. Because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan asked us to study. And I have a bachelor's degree from John Jay College of Criminal Justice. And so I have a bachelor's. So it's no different than him asking me to study to improve myself. And when I got into that study, then I really started to find out about myself. And that helped me to actually understand on a deeper level Islam. Because they say Islam is mathematics, mathematics is Islam. I learned more about myself. I learned how to see me coming before she comes. Mm-hmm. Y'all used to say stuff like, oh, you got to learn how to, your mom used to say this, may Allah be pleased with her. She said, sister, you got to know that you can't always fight every battle. That sounded good. But in her mind, she had no idea that I was ready to rock and roll everywhere I went because I got sick and tired of people. Ain't nobody going to. At this time, because I learned more about who I am and I've learned to surrender. It took me a long time, but I'm grateful. I don't fight as much as I used to. Mm-hmm. I really don't, because I do know for a fact that even if Allah ain't going to give you what you do, he going to take care of me. That's what I know today. I've learned to surrender to that fact, that even if you don't get your just due, because I didn't get all my just due, like he's still going to take care of me. And that's what my little girl was always looking for. So I found it in different forms of drugs and alcohol and different activities that were not conducive to peace. And so what I've come to understand and what I want people to know, that you don't have to die in pain. I don't care what organization or family structure or where you grew up. You don't have to die by yourself. You could talk to somebody. And what I want to be able to do with your listeners is to become a resource. Me and my team, It's a bunch of us. I'm not a solo artist. It's not good to be a solo artist. It's important to just become a resource network. So I want your listeners to know, I don't care where they are in the country, me and the team that Allah blessed us with, and these are Muslims, Christian, atheists, it don't matter where you are, LGBTQIA, it don't even matter. But the team that Allah blessed me to be a part of, we're going to help you find. So we want to become a resource for you to be able to get the kind of help that you need. That I don't want to see nobody kill themselves. There's a high rise in suicide amongst young Black men, but it was manifested before in homicide. They really suicidal. We don't want to be honest about the anger that's inside of them to make them off someone else. If we believe that what you're looking at, this person is you and you are them, then when you kill them, you're killing a part of yourself. So really, it's suicidal to be out here killing the way you are, right? What we want to become is a resource to you. How can we help you? I don't want you to take and mistake this beautiful pink garment and this beautiful Sister Loretta from New York, Mosque number 7, jewelry and all that. I don't want you to mistake that and believe, oh, they can't help me. I'm not good enough. You good enough because this morning, right now, you breathe by God's permission. And I'm not the one to judge you. That's not my job. My job is I'm here. I agreed. December 14th, 1989, I agreed to become a savior. And my job is the resurrection of the dead and to assist the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in doing so. And he didn't ask us to just do it here. He said that home, the mosque, is our base, but our work space is the community. That's where I'm learning to embrace. And so why Sister Amina wears her uniform, it reminds the girl that want to get outside of herself, beloved, this is your license. This is who you are, beloved. No, man, we're not there no more. So that's why I love wearing my garment. This is the garment of the Muslim girl in training. This is the garment. They taught me, I'm telling you, if I had 1,000 years, I couldn't exhaust telling y'all what this class has done for me. I never thought that I'd be a surrendered wife. What? But I am. I love my family. I love my husband. I love being a wife. I love being a mother. And after years of running, I love being home. Mm-hmm. I've never had that level of peace. I suffer if I'm not in tune with the God. I suffer from depression too. And I know when it's coming. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us that depression is deviation of duty. Well, for me, this is for me. What does that mean? Deviation of duty. I am not taking care of myself. Depressed. I'm doing it. Now, another way of taking that is, I learned this in the 12-step program. There's a saying that says, through my inability to accept personal responsibility, I created my own problems. So when I'm laying up in here depressed, I'm not feeling so great about myself, I have to really examine and look and pay attention to the fact that I helped to create this environment. And I'm not going to get out of it by myself without a power greater than myself. You know, somebody that I admire so, and I want the women, especially men too, but mostly the women. They had a Sister Ava, Dr. Ava Muhammad. Man, I had never met such a powerful Black woman in my life.
Yes, ma'am.
Outside the vanguard. I'm talking about she is unapologetically a female and a lover of God and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm talking about a strong woman who is not a punk. I have been looking for that all my life. I had gotten tired of seeing the Little House on the Prairie kind of women. You know what I mean? Just get along and go along. I just couldn't fit into the cut. I just felt like, ooh, I can't say nothing. No, not right now. Ooh. So I kept running, almost like I was looking for my place. And it wasn't until Allah blessed Sister John and Sister Captain Karima Muhammad to say to this little stallion, let her go in class. Don't let her come to class. Don't let her come to class. But I tell you what, you better listen. So Jonna, Sister Tara Muhammad, these are all Mosque number 7 soldiers. Listen, they gave a sister a shot. And I was not nowhere near as perfect. Let's be clear. But it was the training ground that I got. Sister Shanasia Muhammad, may Allah bless her. I love her too. Sister Shanasia, Sister Tara, Sister Regina. Man, I could keep naming Sister LaShawn, Sister Cherry. These are all women that I learned to really embrace their femininity. I'm like, these women, they real life soldiers, but they date me. Sister Captain LaShonda Muhammad, Sister Sadaka. I'm talking about Black women who love to cook, not just no seasoned salt fried chicken kind of business. No, these are real live cooks from scratch. And so these are the kind of things that a girl like me that didn't know much about herself. My mother taught us how to cook. She did. Let me be clear. She taught us how to cook and how to clean. She gave us the basic foundation. But it wasn't until I came into the nation that I began to really embrace myself and who I am and become comfortable in who I am. I embrace 100% my femininity. I don't have to be masculine to handle nothing. I just I'm sorry. Excuse me, let me just go stage left. Why? Because I'm just not gonna sit here and act a monkey with you. We're not gonna do that. And it costs me too much, so um, that's how I got out of drugs. And so what helped me as a part of my journey in the nation is that in 1992, started going to some 12-step meetings. Um, and at the time, it was called Codependence Anonymous. And the theme of it is people who rescue other people, kind of, sort of. You're not always rescuing and taking care of other people. And I knew that I was like that with my mom and my family, like rescue ranger kind of thing, right? And I knew I can identify with that. Well, I was going to that meeting for about a year. And after sharing, one day, the lady said to me, now the NA used to meet across the hall. And I used to see these people, they look like real live junkies. And let me tell it, I ain't nothing like that, I just got a problem because it was my mama's fault. Let me tell it. Anyway, the woman said to me one day, I think you need to make a meeting across the hall. I was like, what? I don't smoke crack. No, that's not me. She said, no, I think that you may need to get some extra help. I was insulted. But because my mother raised us to be humble, you say you need help, and I was going to these meetings to get help, and someone suggested something else, well, then try the suggestion. I was insulted, but I still went. Brother, when I made my first NA meeting in 1993, nope, 96. That was my first NA meeting. I had stopped using drugs in 93. And sort of, let me tell you, the backdrop of that is, I just stopped using because I didn't want to get put out the mosque. But Lord knows I was off the chain. I still cussing people out like it's nobody business, flipping over tables, just insane, just tickets, just rebellious. And I wasn't rebellious because for the sake of being rebellious. I was really one of those fight the power kind of people. You said blue. If I didn't believe in you, I'm going to say black. And it wasn't out of just being ornery, or it was because I just didn't trust you. Had nothing to do. Today, what I learned is that everybody has a right to say what they want. I have a right to believe it, but I don't have a right to embarrass you. It took me a long time. And I thank Allah for that. And so when I started making NA meetings, it was 96 actually. I was 3 years clean. What made me never want to go back to drug addiction was after I sat in those meetings in 96, I started hearing about how you get into the drug use. Not so much the drug stories, the crack, the heroin, the weed, whatever. No. It was the behaviors, the compulsiveness, the inability to manage your life. I never want to return back to unmanageability again. Now, how do I do that? Well, in recovery, they got steps. It's like what was designed in the nation, Supreme Wisdom, the self-improvement study guides, and then in 2011, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan introduced Dianetics. So with that, that would have been the bomb just right there. I'm just saying. But in our building and birthing process, we're getting there. In the meantime, Allah still loves me. I still want help. I take every resource of assistance that Allah has blessed me with. And because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us that the universe was like an entire, like a breast, like a child goes to the breast of a mother to get milk. Well, the universe is the same thing. So when I need something, just call from the universe and pull from the universe. And Allah has never failed me. So that's what I do. And so by Allah's permission, how I stopped using is I stayed in those 12-step meetings. It really did help me. Yeah, that's how I start. Now, I from 93 to 96, it was rough. It was rough because I didn't know anything about recovery. Now, I'm going to give you a backdrop, if you will. Something that has come to me that I wanted to share the analogy with those of us who say we serve wherever you are in your life. These places are emergency rooms, and every person in it is a patient. even to the trusted servants, even to those in authority, you're still a patient. Yeah. And so sometimes what I found in my process growing up, just even recently, that Allah freed me for some stuff that I was going through for years. I had no idea. As I began to recover, it's uncovering. And what I learned is that even my mother, my stepfather, my father, they really did intend to do right. They really did. They never set out to do wrong. And no different than I set out to do right, I would listen to people describe me like I was a villain. I'm thinking to myself, what she talking about? They talking about me. And as I sat down and do some self-reflection, as we're talking about, it's called self-analysis in the nation, and in recovery, we call it a 10 step. When I sat down and really started paying attention to the part I played in the situation, well, I had good intentions too, that just didn't turn out quite right. What was I willing to do? Now, you know what? Now I've embarked on this journey to forgive myself for the part I played in my own destruction and my own hurt and the hurt of others. And in that same way, without an apology, other people in authority. I'm sincerely like, I'm good. Because I don't want to live with this turmoil, what you did to me and how you're going to do it again. What I've learned is now I can understand what the people before me came and said. Listen, I can go to a meeting, I can go to the mosque, I'm going to do my part and keep it moving. I, I'm not able to fellowship with the people that's still active in their addiction and their disease, in and out of the rooms and the streets and the community. Because there's some people who still battling, whether they in authority or not, they still battling with their inner stuff and they still there. But here's what Allah said to me. Here's what the God of my understanding said. God put them there. And all the anger and temper tantrum is not going to remove them. They're there for a reason. See yourself. That's for me. So for anybody that's going through changes, like, I want to help become a resource to you. And I'm not the individual that's necessarily going to be there for you, but there's so many different men and women that Allah has blessed me over the years to come with. And we are part of a network of people that can help you get what you need so that you don't have to live with addiction. You don't have to live with this. I'm all by myself. I can't trust nobody. I can't tell nobody. So now you're going to die from your disease, whether it be physical, mental, or spiritual. We don't have to do that. So that's how I started using, how Allah blessed me to come out of it, and why I stay clean 28 years later.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful, beautiful. And thank you very much for your transparency and your honesty and your great testimony. You have a lot of comments. To Live in Islam says, all praise due to Allah. Love you, sis. Okay, thank you for that. Gabriel Muhammad, you are not alone. Allah healed me from a 28-year nicotine habit. Allah Akbar. Ahmad J. Muhammad, I did 15 years in prison and I have to fight depression by prayer and study. Thank you very much, Brother Ahmad, Sister, Brother Derek. 3X, depression is something I know plenty about. My sister Miriam says, we love you, Sister Amina Haqq. You are a savior to our people. My sister Naima says, ASA family. Sister Ilyasa says, praise be to Allah. That's right. This is Ilyasa's first time watching. Sister Kimberly Taylor Muhammad says, all praise is due to Allah. And so many people just have so many amazing comments. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. I can't wait to put this on YouTube. Boom. My next question for you, ma'am. You speak of these resources, right? So if there's someone who's watching right now and they don't live where you live, what can they do?
Well, let me give you an example. In the state of Kentucky, I've joined a network of men and women who have opened up services called supportive housing and peer support services. I've become a peer support specialist in the state of Kentucky, and that's in the state of Kentucky, in Louisville, Lexington, Manchester, London. And what we do there is we provide housing to men and women over the age of 18 that suffer from mental health and substance abuse. And they're able to live in our houses for free and get inpatient, outpatient services, peer support services. And so the company that I joined on with is a really great network. They're getting ready to open up a network, God willing, in another state. But I pray to be a part of this change in every state, that wherever I go, I want to be a peer support specialist, because as a peer support specialist, I don't have to go get a degree, but what it comes from is peer support. I've been there. And so they give you 30 to 40 hours of training to help them in a structured environment where you could help somebody from point A and let them become into self-sufficiency and sustain them. And what I want to be able to do is give back to someone else what was really done to me. The company that I started with my partners is called Torchlight Services, LLC. And what we've done is we too have supportive housing. And in Kentucky right now, and God willing, there'll be more states, but I want to introduce them to some therapists that I've met in different states. I go to meetings nationally, all over the country, in different countries. I go to meetings where I'm able to pick up my phone and somebody say, well, I'm in California. Where can I get help? I'm going to give them somebody and a number, and we're going to follow up and make sure if that doesn't work for you, let's try something else. But I don't want you to ever feel like that you're alone. And I remember hearing this in Narcotics Anonymous, where they said, let us love you till you can learn how to love yourself. I experienced that in a nation where the sisters loved Amina Haqq. That's, you know how people call me Amina Haqq? It was the sisters out of Atlanta and Chicago. I was always Sister Amina number 7, but in Sister LaShonda, your mother, and some other vanguards out of Atlanta and Chicago, they would just call me Amina Haqq. Like they learned to love this stallion until she learned how to love herself. It was a long road. Sister Aisha Muhammad, oh man, awesome. I'm talking about just call out the blue. Brother Burvi Muhammad, just out the blue. I'm talking about genuine people, regardless to how busy they are, what they're doing in their life, the status. They are genuinely concerned, like how you doing. I remember once, I'm gonna share this because it's still very near and dear to me. When I moved here to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2004. Once again, it's new, and the trauma that I experienced, she's always looking for a way out. I told y'all, right? Joe, look, and of course, life didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. And I just wanted to die. I thought so anyway. And I didn't know nobody else to call. Sunday morning, before the mosque meeting, I called the national secretary. Now, mind you, this is mosque meeting morning. This is the national secretary. He answered his phone. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm on my way to treatment. I think I'm going to kill myself. He said, nah, sister, you're not going to do nothing like that. And I just started telling him whatever I was experiencing, what I was feeling. I was still on my way to what I thought was treatment because I really didn't want to hurt myself, but I just felt in such despair that I knew I didn't want to use. And before I use, I'll just die first. I'm not going back out here. That was just such an unhealthy environment that I'll never go back there again, that I'd rather die. So I was at an impasse in that year. I remember what year it was, but it was close to when I moved here. And at the time, I didn't have enough coping mechanisms, something I learned in recovery and I learned in Dianetics. I had to learn coping mechanisms because the only solution can't be fighting, using drugs and killing yourself. That can't be the only option. Got to be something else. Cussing people out. That can't be the only option. And when I tell you that it took me about 22 minutes. I was sitting in the parking lot of the place that I thought I was going to, I need 3 days. I need some time. He talked me in the parking lot, and I'm talking about Islam means peace. What resonated in my soul was that brother, his name now is Saad Alim, brother, he spent time. I'm talking about, mind you, I'm looking at the phone. It is mosque meeting time. But that wasn't important because we in a resurrection business. It wasn't church. It wasn't mosque. It was resurrection. I never forgot that. That this man, he didn't have to answer the phone, number one. I'm just one constituent amongst, thousands, tens of thousands, but he answered my call. And then he didn't have to stay on the phone with me. I'm talking all this wild talking, what I'm going to do and how I'm feeling. He didn't have to because he got responsibilities and duties. He had his own life he was dealing with. He took time with me. And when I tell you that I came out the parking lot and went back to the mosque, that ain't never happened to me before. Because in recovery, we tell the newcomer or anybody that's going through, like, call somebody before you're going to do something. And sometimes in my own mentality, I just didn't think nobody else would listen. So I thank Allah that I had the wherewithal to be able to call Brother Burby at that time, and he answered the phone. That happened several times after that by Allah's permission. I thank Allah for him. May Allah continue to reward him. That happened with Sister Aisha. That happened with your mom. May Allah be pleased with her. Like, I thank Allah for the people in my life, these wonderful sisters here in Charlotte, North Carolina as well, who would let their sister cry, scream. Listen, that's what people need. They need the outlets. They need the non-judgmental, loving outlets structured to tell you, you can do this and you're gonna do this. That's who I want to be. I want to be like the people who help Amina Haqq. The people who listened to me cry, scream, moan, they didn't judge the people I was talking about. That was another thing. When you're listening to people share about their pain, don't get involved in that. Oh, I know that's right. Me too. That ain't the time. You ain't the helper. Nah, just let the person share. Because it's almost remind me of a situation like exorcism. You know, when the people just all out, they having all sorts of whatever is coming out of them. Allow them to get that out. Because in Dianetics, ultimately, what we're looking for is the God in you and the God in that person to meet up so we can annihilate that enemy that's trying to take us down. Now, that's who I want to be. And I thank Allah for those servants and many more servants that I'll come up with and I think about. You know who you are. Sister Maria out in California now, was in Baltimore. Sister Sadaka, plenty of days. She helped me really to learn. She gave me the first exposure in fighting with authority. She used to tell me, she said, Sister Amina, you know, you're such a beautiful sister, and I really don't want you to continue to place yourself in a line of fire with people who have the authority to destroy you. Not that they want to, but they can. And you're putting yourself in a situation. Dig it. When she opened that up, I kind of sort of understood, still didn't, but I heard her. So when I learned about it in Dianetics, it's called antagonism. I have been an antagonist in my own demise. And when I take responsibility for that today, I'm telling you, brother, I love being by, I'm not an isolator in that negative sense, but I enjoy being by myself. So I don't help your devil and my devil get along and say, let's destroy this girl so she can get to acting up again. We're not doing that. Yeah. So I thank Allah for those different mechanisms that help me to stay here. And so that's what I want to be able to do. I have resources in different states. And what I don't have, we're going to make it together. Because what I'm not doing today and what is not good for anybody is I'm not a sympathetic person. I'm empathetic. And what I'm not is a rescuer. I am an advocate. So what I'm going to help you to do is when you call me and say you live in Wisconsin, we're going to do the research together. I'm going to help you get the research because what I want you to learn how to do, we're not victims, we're participants. Because the people that's going to be calling me, for the most part, it may be some teenagers, there may be some young people, but for the most part, it's people that got a cell phone. It's somebody who got some social media. So what I'm going to do is let you use your resources to help dig you out of the situation that you're in with the God of your and my understanding. And you ain't got to be no Muslim. You don't have to be straight, none of that. If you sick and suffering, give us a call at Torchlight Services.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Now, and what is the way to get in contact with Torchlight Services?
Well, my email address, I'm looking for the 1-800 number. Matter of fact, my number is on my flyers. 704-728-5068. And then I'll give you the 1-800 number. So if you're somewhere far away, you need a toll-free number, I have a toll-free number as well. Or you can reach out to me at Amina, AMINA, at torchlightservicesllc.com. And of course, for anybody that don't know, I named the service Torchlight because I wanted to be what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he has a book, that too you can find on finalcall.com. He talked about us being the torchlight for America. And when I think about a torchlight, it's the light emanating in darkness. And though I may have had experiences that were severe and traumatic and painful, they are the fire, that embers that really drives me. It's fire. It's the fire that warms and burns and drives me to do what I do. So I too by Allah's permission, he made me a torchlight, and he's even making me to be a better servant. And I continue to, surrender to that. So that's how you can reach me. Amina at torchlightservicesllc.com. Give me a call. Between myself and the team of people that I know, many of us answer our calls throughout the night because the devil is really busy. The enemy inside is really busy after midnight when everybody else is asleep. So what happens to the people who need somebody to talk to? We'll give you some numbers for those too that'll answer their phone. There's people who are waiting for people to call them and just to give them the experience, strength, and hope, and give them some hope to last them throughout the night, and maybe meet up with them where they at in the morning so that we can find out how we can walk you through this process called recovery.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. We have a lot more questions. So many comments in the comment. People were congratulating you, saying stay strong, teach. Praise be to Allah. Your husband says, that's right, Judge Les. Yet ye be judge. My sister Miriam, sister Kimberly. Some people showing love in the comments. Thank you all who continue to watch the People's Podcast and show love. Sis Amina Haqq, I have a quick 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast, because we have a lot of sponsors that have been promoting and coming through since the beginning, but especially this month. And I want to thank them, and I want to make sure that we encourage not only the businesses and the sponsors of the People's Podcast, but to help the Torchlight, because I know for sure that many times in the middle, like you said, in the middle of the night, many of us get doubt, and we need somebody to talk to who's not going to be judgmental, but who's going to be, productive and help us give, a positive way to cope with pain. So we look forward to your services as well. That's why can't wait to put this on YouTube. If you would like to be a sponsor or donor of the People's Podcast, please cash at the People's Podcast. Thank you all very much for all of the sponsors. My brother Rashad, Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Thank you very much. Reach out if you need anything. My sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book, both of which are available on Amazon. Please get both of those books. My sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. And right here in studio in Atlanta, Georgia, we love our tiny dancers. Our brothers out of the West Coast, MTS Car Bros, any make, any model, any year, 30 to 50% off. They'll ship the vehicles directly to you anywhere in the country. Thank you very much. Our sister Rashida Rafat, Raw Communications. If you are writing a book, she offers copy editing, project management, concept development, media relations, and consulting. Once again, Raw Communications, Sister Rashida Rafat. If you're needing help in any assistance with your books and editing, please reach out to her. We're coming right back to our amazing sister, Sis Amina Haqq. The Elevated Places school out of Houston, Texas, where I am, what God says I am. Sister Melva Muhammad does a great job of directing the school and creating young kings and queens. Asiatic Minds Online. It is an online virtual school teaching young gods. They have an open house this Friday. Thank you very much. Asiatic Minds, Sister Sherry, AsiaticMinds.com. If you want your children to go to school virtually with like-minded students. Brother Kenneth, Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire, right here in Atlanta, Georgia, but he'll ship bow ties to you all across the country. Thank you very much, Brother Kenneth. The law offices of Warren Fitzgerald Muhammad. He does a great job out of Houston, Texas, helping our clients get justice for injuries due to negligence, intubation, and anesthesia. Thank you very much to the law offices of Warren Fitzgerald Muhammad. Thank you very much. Dr. Henry M. Carter, King Henry Circular Eggs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad, COVID-19 Disinfectant Cleaning Services out of Chicago. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharif.com. And last but not least, my two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book on Amazon, and No Father, No Excuse, which is on Amazon as well. Right back to our amazing sister, Sister Amina Haqq, with her incredible testimony helping us. And thank you very much, Sister Lovett, for always assisting in the comments as well. Boom. Okay, so Sister Amina, there's a quick question.
Sure.
You said you were going, before you spoke to the brother on the phone, to check in for like a 3-day thing. When people who just it might not be necessarily heroin or pills, because pills is like the main thing now, or alcohol. If anybody who's battling any addiction, where you telling me there are places you can just check in for 3 days if you're...
Listen, here in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's on Randolph Road, and I'm going to find it here for those who are in Charlotte. But there are treatment centers that you can go to, pull up, and tell them, let me say something that I learned. Sometimes people don't know how to get to the exact nature, but you can't get help if you don't describe what you're going through. And it's okay to tell somebody, I want to hurt myself. I just don't know what to do. And what happens is, if you must, go get some help before you hurt yourself, and it'll be a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I also want that's for the treatment centers, the mental health treatment centers, because they have drug treatment centers and mental health treatment. All of it's the same, because according to what we call the mental health guidelines, substance abuse is a mental health disorder, straight up and down. That's it. Because it is something wrong, the disorder in our mind, for us to use the type of drugs that would make the type of damage, wreak havoc on our lives, our families, and our physical bodies and our spirit. It's a mental disorder as well. And so I would say that if you must, do that. But I wanted to say to those of us who serve, especially to the saviors in the Nation of Islam, this is an emergency room, and people are going to come with all type of ailments. It's really important that we utilize the guidance that have been given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that we start setting up these departments that he's already encouraged us for the last 20 so odd years, because where you may not be able to help somebody, somebody else can. Let nobody ever die. In recovery talk about, need no addict ever die. If we're here, they don't have to die. So when they come and present disorders, it is not only for the minister of the mosque. It is not only for the captain of the mosque. There is so many different departments. If we allow and help to foster, it says make a weak believer strong, right? Foster people into their excellence. There are people in the mosque with degrees in mental health and substance abuse and therapists. There are people who can do that. There are people who are real estate agents and people who own homes and people who don't know that they have empty houses. Listen, you can turn your house into a supportive housing, because especially those brothers and sisters that are coming home from prison, anytime you stay in solitary confinement, studies have shown you that it creates an environment of insanity. They keep them in locked in for 23 hours a day. You by yourself, you start talking to different things. We've studied this. And so when I think about it, like we're saviors. Our sole purpose in our hands is to deliver the dead, mentally dead, to the Lamb. Like that, our goal is resurrection. That's all we do. And no one's perfect. No one's perfect. I understand. But if we can keep our mission in mind, our mission is to resurrect the dead and to be an illuminating light as an example. So when you see people in their disorder, if you have order, you will be the centrifugal force about bringing change in their life. It happened to me. There were people that was not affected by my foolishness. They just wasn't. Come here. Get over here and sit down. And what did I do? Get over here and sit down. Like straight up. There are people that just, we can command it. It's a way of doing it in love. And I knew the people that was talking to me, they wasn't trying to put me down. Just go right now. Go sit down. And so I did that. And so I say this because, with all sincerity, it's important for us to know that with everything going on, nobody has to be turned away because we are not equipped to handle them. Maybe I'm not, but there's somebody who is. So become a resource. I think Brother Joshua stepped off for a moment. I'm hoping that what I say today can help somebody. And if it don't help you, maybe it's useful for someone else in your life. Gotcha. So with that being said, Brother Joshua said that he is coming back on, and I'm going to keep it going. If you have any questions just put it in Brother Joshua's chat box so that he could ask. I'm willing to be open and share with you what I know, and what I don't know, I'll refer you to someone who does have some answers. My goal again today was to be able to give information and be an inspiration to someone else, like so many people have done for me as well. So if there's anything that I could say of myself while I wait for Brother Joshua, where I am, is I'm real grateful for every experience that I've had. It, we say it the cliche way, that my life experiences made me who I am. It has truly shaped me, and I'm grateful to Allah. I had the opportunity of hearing the other day, it was part of Dr. Ava's master's class, and awesome. On Facebook, if you log onto her Facebook page and look up the master's class, it is a wonderful resource, women. Um, Sister Mariam out of Chicago is a wonderful resource. Sister Sudan Muhammad out of DC is a wonderful resource. Sister Maria Muhammad, Sister Tracy Muhammad out of Baltimore, wonderful resource. Trying to think about so many wonderful sisters that I know that are actually working in the community, if I could recall. So that's what I can remember off the top of my head for right now.
Praise be to Allah, beautiful. And you were receiving so much love that for some reason the Wi-Fi started acting a little foolish, but we all good. We right here. Yes, ma'am. Sister Teresa Tornhill said, can you give the 1-800 number?
Yes, my number is 877-963-9968. That's us at Torchlight Services. And again, just reach out to us. We'll respond to you in 24 hours.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And thank you everyone for their showing love to Sister Amina Haqq and continue to watch the People's Podcast. My question for you is, earlier you spoke on not knowing if you could be a wife or be a mother or, just be like, I guess, domestic, if you will. Can people who are dating or interested in someone who may be battling addiction, can that person love again? Like, is it possible? Can the person beat addiction and be fully able to be married and follow?
Absolutely. You and I have talked all the time on this, that it is really possible to have a fragile woman who had been abused, traumatized, participated in her own pain. And when you help to introduce her to the right kind of help, I promise you, she will be the best thing smoking. And I'm telling you, like, my 12-step recovery, Dianetics, and chiefly the Muslim girl training class, General Civilization in the Nation of Islam, hands down, there is none second. I'm telling you, there's nothing else like it. I'm talking, I'm talking about a runaway like me. I love to can, like waiting for the pot to get hot kind of can. Like, you got to wait can. And I love it. Like, I can show you some things in my house. I'm talking about, oh goodness, back in the day, before I had knowledge of self, and I'm talking about a thorough knowledge of self, not just the information. I'm talking about the application. So in recovery, we say through practical application, do these steps work. So I'm talking about practically applying the teachings that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, like practically applying it. I had some amazing women in my life. Sister Evelyn Muhammad, when she first, I would say she took me under her wing. She said we became friends. Take it what you was. I'm gonna tell you what it was for me. I've always looked at this woman like she was like, what? But we are really good sister friends. And when we walk in her house, you would think that she, it's like Taj Mahal. Over the years of us having this developing relationship, as she says to people, I help her. I know that Allah blessed her to help me to learn how to become, and I'm not going to use the word domesticated because it's such a cheap word. She has elevated me as a domestic engineer that I absolutely love designing my home. You see these lights behind me? People be like, it ain't Christmas. I love the lights. I love shiny lights. Okay, you sit with your darkness if you want to, but these lights make me happy.
Yes, ma'am.
And just not the basic table setting. I'm talking about my children when we started learning how to table set. This is really beautiful. My children My daughter, especially, that's another thing that was part of my therapeutic process. My daughter, I had to remember that if the kingdom of God will come through her womb, that I'm responsible for changing my life to give her and the future another chance.
Yes,
So my
ma'am.
daughter said, Mommy, could we get a table too? Is that only for company? Well, you know what we did? We went out and got a table setting. So I have 2 table settings in my home. I mean, never, I wasn't big on earrings and necklaces and all that. Listen, my husband just said something that's hilarious. Brother Hakeem, y'all know, like, right, let me tell you something. Let me tell you a funny story about my development. Minister Farrakhan was speaking at the UN in New York. And Sister Donna Farrakhan, his soldier daughter, came and she talked to the MGT and she got us riled up. I showed up in this wonderful, beautiful white garment. I bought them Carl Kanai combat boots.
Mm,
And
mm.
I had the uniform with the combat boots because I was really prepared to just protect my country. And I didn't know that it was something wrong with that. I really didn't because I figured all these heels wasn't gonna work. We ain't gonna be running around here with no heels on. In my mind, what I didn't know that I know now. See, Allah bless me. I said such a beautiful, pure heart. But my husband say that, and I'm saying like that's part of my history. The combat boots with the uniform, and I really thought I was right. Like when people make a comment, what she got comment, what you looking at? Like I really thought it was something wrong with what they did. No, boo, you didn't know no better. Calm down, relax. I got you. And that's what I do. There's sisters in my life now that respect me and love me, and because I love them as well, and they know that my words are coming from a place of love that they can take it. My little sisters, if I see something on Facebook and it's a little sister that I know that's receptive, because that's another thing for me too. I'm not going where it ain't gonna be receptive. We ain't gonna fight over your destruction. If that's how you want to live your life, let me just unfriend you and just close my Facebook page so I don't have to watch you. Because it really hurts me to watch you destroy yourself. So rather than for me to continue to try to force somebody out of their change and their process and their journey, what I learned how to do is until you're receptive, mind my business. But my sisters that are receptive to it, if I see something on Facebook that's a little side, I know that's really not part of the character that they're building with themselves. Your sister would call them on the phone. I'm like, babe, what's going on? They would tell me, rah, rah, rah. Again, I'm just listening. I'm not giving no advice. I'm just listening. And after they finish spitting out whatever it is, baby girl, listening, and thing, let me just share something with you. This is not where we're going, right? I'm just saying. Because who you represent. And we're not talking about just religion now. I'm talking about just in general. If you're a business owner, you cannot be on Facebook talking about how you're going to set it off with so and so. You're a business owner, beloved. It's your marketing we're talking about because somebody done did something to you, right? We're talking about women who teach and train. I'm talking about in a professional world even. So I just want to let the young sisters know, listen, babe, listen, this is not where we're going. And the reason why they can receive it today is because they know who I was. I didn't care what came out my mouth, when it came out my mouth, how it came out. You was just going to handle it like whatever. I'm not like that today. I've learned that I hurt more people in my delivery than I help. And that was never my intention. And so today I strive to be a bit more careful about how I say things, the way I say it, because I represent a higher calling. So oftentimes I find myself, like I said, I wear my uniform um, to remind me, to set me straight and structure me into who I am. This and not. I'm not doing this for religion. I'm doing it because first of all, I like it. Pink is my favorite color. I like all this little beautiful jewelry and everything. It makes me look really nice. I like it, but it also refines me. It's refinement. It's beautiful. It's cultured. And so I thank Allah for that. For anybody that's struggling, the 12-step program too is a wonderful program. And in that program, Allah blessed me with a sister. We have something called a sponsor. And the person that sponsors you is another, just another guide, another individual that's another recovering addict that is familiar with the 12 steps, the 12 traditions, and they just want to help you in your recovery. And Allah blessed me with a beautiful sister who we're family today. We're really family. That Allah blessed her in her process, that she loved the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And just so I mean, I didn't know that it set out like that, but that's who she is. She grew up with people in the community. She's a wonderful Christian, but she don't set trip. Help is help. It don't matter, So Allah blessed me to be able to see a lot of her example And in her example, she's really helped me to rid myself and surrender and turn over to Allah these mechanisms that just don't work for me no more. So that helps too.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. And once again, thank you again for your amazing testimony. And thank everyone who continues to watch and show love to the People's Podcast. My next question for you, ma'am, is self-esteem. How important is self-esteem in dealing with recovery?
In the beginning, we may not have any concept of what that means. A lot of times we be throwing out words, somebody got low self-esteem, and we perceive it because just sound right. But what does that mean? How do I get it? How do I get it different? It's important to have knowledge of self. I learned that in the nation. That it's important to know who you are, who you belong to, so that you know where you're going. It's important to have a knowledge of self. I know today I have learned how to take an account of my assets and my liabilities. I'm fully aware of them. I accept who I am. That is self-esteem to me. I practice today. I've strived to practice self-acceptance. I'm not perfect by a long shot, neither is the next person. But what I'm not going to do is allow someone else outside of myself to define who I am. Hell, you don't know who you are. You know what I mean? So rather for us to go back and forth with that kind of line, I've learned, I see myself. I read this in the Holy Quran, like take on Allah's coloring. So I take on God's view of who I am. I breathed this morning by his permission. He finds me useful. You mean I'm useful to him? Now, I may not be useful to the lady who say I can't work in the kitchen and I can't have this job over here and I can't have that job. I may not be useful to them. I may not be qualified to them. It's okay. But their sister in Chanel in Baltimore said to me some months ago, man, Allah blessed her to help me as well. Like she said, that there's so many things that Allah will have for you to do, sister, that is beyond what these people, or anybody for that matter, can offer you, or just a position and whatnot. She said, I mean, even in your own life, in your own family, there's work to be done. I mean, she only echoed what the minister said. So then I'm still out here like, I used to struggle with people pleasing. Because growing up, there was so much turmoil, argument, and dissidence, so much foolishness that went on. I just want to make nice. And either I developed humor and comedy to make nice. Totally inappropriate. We get ready to take tests. I'm the only one laughing. This is a serious business. My teachers will put me out. But that was my mechanism because I'm afraid to tell you, I don't even know what we about to do. I didn't study. So I start laughing. Inappropriate, because that's not how you really feel. So I become a people pleaser. And then I learned how to make other people laugh, all to hide what I was really going through. Self-acceptance is so important because that's your definition of who you are and your definition of where you're going. And again, it's only guided by a higher power. And that higher power is not people just individuals. So, so-and-so may reject you and so may say that you're not worthy. It's okay. It's their opinion. And I'm learning that other people's opinion is none of my business. Now, that goes back to something that Sister Karima Muhammad, Captain Emeritus, used to say to me when I was young, but I didn't understand it. I thought she was saying I was being nosy. I wasn't being nosy. She used to always tell me to mind my business. I'm out here rescue rangers. Somebody tell me I'm a husband, punch me in the face. I'm going to rescue you, go get you the life, give you $250, change your life. Somebody say, oh, man, I'm going to be honest, I'm rescuing. She sat me in the office and said, girl, listen, you really not going to have a good time in this process if you always in other people's business. And I was crying. I was insulted. And when she realized, this is what my perception is, that I felt like she realized that I don't understand what you mean. She said to me, you got a good heart. And there's nothing wrong with that. But while you're angry at her husband, her mama, her job, trying to rescue her children, right, wild and crazy, when they start getting along, she ain't going to tell you that. But you still at not ease in your life. You mad at your man, you mad at your mama because she got into it with her mama. Now, so what she was trying to tell me then, what I have learned 30 years later, And minding my business means I have some business to mind and I'm keeping a focus on myself.
Mm.
Doesn't mean I don't care for people. Doesn't mean that I'm not involved and wish better for you. But I'm not so enthralled and so determined to rescue you from your situation. And I got this big gorilla on my back. That's recovery. Let me show you how I'm getting this gorilla off my back so you can try to use some of these tools because I got the gorilla on my back. I'm striving to eat 1 meal a day. That gorilla be like, you making the children some eggs this morning. Well, why don't you have a little bit of eggs?
Mm.
Didn't I say I wasn't eating today? I know, but you could do that tomorrow. So the disease will show up. Can't get me to do drugs, but it'll get me in another way because if I can kill you any way I can, that's my goal.
Beautiful, praise be to Allah. Excellent, excellent breakdown of that. And thank everyone again for watching. My next question is, what should the family members do who may see someone who is battling addiction and needing help?
I've found over the years that a praying family, I'm not talking about religious praying, just be saying some words, but a family that is firmly belief in a power greater than themselves would get together and intervene with the individual. Like become a resource. And if you don't know, find somebody who can become a resource, give you some resources, give this individual choices, but this individual need help. I found that in the Black community, the Black and brown community, even the poor white community, but mostly in the Black community, we are so ignorant to the fact that prayer alone does not work. Don't try to lay hands on somebody who just told you they're gonna kill themselves. Somebody who out here smoking crack cocaine, we just gonna pray on, bring them to the church and pray over them. She's smoking a pipe when she leave out of there. Yeah, get them some help. And get them some help meaning doesn't mean that God is not good. Listen, God is universal. God is the Alpha and Omega, and it doesn't, and he's not insecure that if you don't give him the praise, then he ain't gonna start shining. That's something I learned in my process too. You know, it's like a little child. I'm mad at you, God. I'm not your friend. Okay. You know how an adult will tell a child, I'm not your friend. I never loved you, and you don't love me, and that's your friend. Okay. Well, when the sun shines, let's see if you're gonna need it. And in the wintertime, don't you want some sun? Yeah, I'm still gonna be here. And so, like that's the God to me. He gonna exist. He's gonna be who he is regardless. And that is who I aspire to be. Let me be who I am regardless to the conditions. Period. Just be consistent. And so for family members, there's different groups also that you can go to. I know that there's some 12-step groups, Nar-Anon, Al-Anon. And let me be honest with you. If families need the help, because if you've had a drug addict in your family, you've given them $5, kept their children, let them have food more than one time. I'm not telling you to lock nobody out, but I am saying to continue to support someone's disease is not okay. All because I don't want them to die. Addicts, we can play in our disease and manipulate that feeling. Oh, I'm gonna give him this money because if he robs somebody, he's gonna get killed. That might happen anyway. And it's important that you go find them some help and tell them, listen, I'm not gonna be able to be your resource. I'm not going to be able to do that. And the Ray, a lot of times we find that help is through some support groups. See, sometimes families got to reach out to other people. How do you do it? How do you tell your daughter no? How do you not do that? Same thing with we watch in our families, in our communities, all this awful molestation in religion and non-religion. It happens. And we act like it don't exist. If the little girl says somebody touched her, if you can't handle it, refer her to somebody. I'm so grateful for state mandated reporter. I'm not a state mandated reporter for real, but I'm a mandated reporter. I'm telling somebody. Listen, it might not be true. I'm going to at least bring awareness to a situation that if the little girl is not telling the truth, there's somewhere she's coming up with this story, how she get it. Listen, some trained professionals that can come in and help your family. But all of this not paying attention to these women, I'm talking about right now in my life, my personal life. I sponsor men and women who have been molested and use drugs to feel better because the people in religion and authority didn't want to hear them. This is very entwined in our family and our community. And what can we do? Become aware. Look for the help. Stop shunning the people that could help us. Get the help, because it comes as a result of us deviating from our duty as well. We say that we are helpers and we are servants. This is all over the country. This is people in the faith, not in the faith, and in recovery, not in recovery, just in general. Go get some help. Mothers, go get some help for your children. Stop giving them money, because money is not the solution to their problem. They hungry. I know they're hungry, but the best time to get them some help is when they're real, hungry. Go get some help. Because the organization I belong to, one of the criteria is when we go street ministry, oh, they can't come straight into the house. They got to go to treatment for 3 days. Let them go to treatment. If they finish treatment for 3 days, we go pick them up and go ahead and clean them up and fix them up. You know what I mean? So I'm learning some stuff myself about rescuing. I didn't know any different myself. So for family members, if you have a husband, a wife, call some help. There are 1-800 numbers that I can refer you all to, that you can go get some help. And again, it's just a start. I'm not the end all to be all. Whatever I'm offering to you is not all that it entails, but it's just the start. And if I can help you start and spark the fire of recovery, and that recovery is for mental health, that uncovering, so that you can see a glimmer of hope, allow us to do that. And I'm not the only one. There's certainly so many other people that we're connected. This is one of the things the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us. He said that our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. Let us begin to unite our resources so that we can help one another. Has more knowledge, or he's going to get the recognition. That kind of foolishness has to stop. All because our people are dying. I'm talking about sons and daughters and nieces and nephews, fathers and mothers, all because we out here set tripping. Who's going to be the boss of the situation? Who knows more? Who's going to get more and shine to a situation? How about you really care about the individual in the resurrection of the dead? And let's help that person first. Let's deal with your ego later. Let's put our egos aside and go help these people who making more money. It's a lot of this out here. I'm just saying, just for us to be able to come together and pool our resources as was given to us. And I'm just sharing this with people in the community too. I just want to teach you how to pool your resources together so that we can help a greater number of people. I have a nonprofit by Allah's permission that I'm starting, in a process right now to being submitted to the government for approval. What I intend to do by Allah's permission here in North Carolina is I want to provide housing to teens that age out of foster care. That's a passion of mine as well, because I know that when young men and women run away and they have behaviors, and people cannot tolerate their behaviors and set their boundaries and set them as straight, and they have to go in the street because of life in general, whether for whatever reason it is. I don't want them to use the only resources they have, which is their bodies, in order to try to find food and shelter. Because they have no idea that what you're trading is millions for a night to stay somewhere. And they don't know, it's just immeasurable. I want to know that recovery, I want them to know that recovery is possible, even after the life. I and several others that I'm familiar with, I've introduced you to some of them. I gave you the information. Allah has blessed us through all types of life changes and life experiences. He has changed us and allowed us to be restored back to humanity as a result of surrendering. So recovery is possible. So God willing, when I get my nonprofit, my 501c3, I'll be reaching out again so that I can begin to market what we do. And we want to get the support that we need to be able to help these young people who are aging out of foster care know that there are services available to them for free. I don't want nothing from you other than a sincere desire to change. That's it. And with that, by Allah's permission, I could be able to assist you. And so I have a great team, a great board of men and women that have volunteered to help me. I have a wonderful lady, her name is Sherry, was a co-worker of mine. I said to her once that I just came to work one day and said, you know what I want to do? I want to do a luggage drive, because there's so many foster children that it still goes on today. I was in foster care at 13. I'm 51 years old by Allah's permission. And it still happens. You know, we run away, you started losing your resources in the street. Not that you didn't have it. I never had one. But anyway, with that said, I came to work. I said that to Sherry. I'm telling you, that was like a Friday. We were just having a conversation. I'm talking about amazing people, how the universe opens up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Sherry called me on Saturday. She said, hey, Amina, you need luggage? I said, yeah. She said, hey, me and Steve got some luggage. I put out on my to my friends and my family members, and you know, and I have some luggage. I pulled up to her house in this very prestigious community. And when I tell you, in my Jeep, I put all of this woman collected at least 70 something pieces of luggage. Only from me asking for it. I remember the minister saying to us that the coin is in the fish's mouth. He didn't say what the fish looked like. Just ask. I just was talking to a coworker. I had no idea that she would just reach out to her resources and get this luggage. It's nice luggage. Allah blessed me to be able to do what I do because I asked for help. I don't have a problem with asking. I'm gonna ask for help. And it's not gonna necessarily help. My recovery process has helped me that the help is not always gonna come from me, myself. The recovery process comes from the different gods, the small God, force of power from different people in the community. I'm not prejudiced. It doesn't matter. Help. And when help comes, don't act. This is a little story. I'm sure we all seen it. Somebody we needed rescuing, and God sent a boat. He sent the helicopter, and then the person wound up dying. And went, oh God, I thought you loved me. I did. I sent you a lot of help, but you was looking for me, and then I came through them. We're taught in the Nation of Islam that when I'm looking at you, I'm looking at God. And so if the same way we see electricity, I wouldn't know that electricity exists without this light bulb, without electricity being plugged in. I wouldn't know that. It's energy. Energy. In the same vein, when God reveals himself, he's coming in a form of energy through men and women. How do I know God? I'm looking at you. How do I know he's existing? But through your love and acceptance, your example. That's what I'm taught. And that's what I want to be, is an illuminating light. I'm going to continue to surrender to this process in this Muslim girl training class and these 12 steps and these Dianetic, the self-analysis and the Dianetic processing, so that I continue to be who God designed me to be. A better person, a better mother, a better wife, and a better sister and a better friend.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And for those who you are watching, if you believe what you heard today to be true and good for our people, then won't you raise your hand, because Sister Amina Haqq has been teaching today. Yes, ma'am. Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Well, I want to thank, well, so many people are commenting. Thank you, my sisters, for saying beautiful testimonies. Sister Teresa Tornhill saying, yes, ma'am. And so many people who are showing love. And of course, once I put it on YouTube, a lot of people are going to show love as well. I just want you to, before we let you go, Sister Amina Haqq, can you please let us know the 800 number and any other information for the resources of the family members and the people who, those of us who may be battling addiction?
Absolutely. Torchlight Services LLC can be reached at 877-963-9968. You can also reach me by my cell phone, 704-728-5068. And if you reach out to me based on the city, state where you are in the country, I will help you get the resources that you need.
Praise be so. I can't wait.
Thank you so much. Also, I'd like to say something, because what we're doing, me and my partners partnered with an organization in Kentucky. I want anybody that is going through changes to know that if you have a diagnosis of substance abuse or mental health, a diagnosis, and you have a state issued ID, give me a call and you're ready to make a change in your life. We can provide you supportive housing in Kentucky for free. Give me a call. We have beds open, beds available. We have peer support specialists and treatment available to you. So again, give me a call. If you have a substance abuse, mental health diagnosis, and a state issued ID, give me a call. And I pray to Allah that we can place you in one of our beds so that you can start your recovery process. Yourself, your family member, your children, your nephew, your niece, anybody. So just give us a call and we'll do the best that we can to become a resource to you.
Excellent. Yes, ma'am. Once again, that is 877-963-9968, correct?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Praise be to Allah.
Thank
And
you
thank
so much
you.
for providing me this forum. I really appreciate you. And I wanted to say to anybody that to go back through his uploads that he have in his past podcasts. This is our brother in our community that is an amazing interviewer. You have so much great content, and your interviewing skills are wonderful. I really appreciate you. I'm very, very proud of you. And I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And may Allah bless you. And if you let us know how we can support the People's Podcast.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, just continue to watch, like, share, subscribe, and also Cash App the People's Podcast. I appreciate it. And I look forward to the work that you're doing in Kentucky, but all over the country, because that's all I hear about is mental health and addiction. So I'm glad that you have a practical solution that people can do for free. That's amazing.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you so
amazing.
much.
Thank you. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off of the People's Podcast. Thank you again, Sister Amina Haqq, and thank everyone who was watching. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you.
No problem.